We have definitely seen some abnormal and extreme weather in the past few months, from freeze-thaw cycles to blowing snow and excessive cold. So how does this prolonged freeze hurt landscape, plants, trees, and even homes? To answer those questions and more, local arborist Kevin Sproule joins us this morning to share some tips to tackle issues before and after a storm. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
Let's start with the first to usually go down, which is trees. How do you identify a hazardous tree after a storm?
After a storm, one of the ways that you can identify a hazardous tree is to go out and do a visual check. Have a look and look for very noticeable broken branches. These broken branches that may have some wet, heavy snow or some ice from freezing rain on them are going to be very susceptible to breaking, especially if a strong wind comes through. Once these branches are broken, they can fall at any time. So that's one thing to look for. Another thing to look for is any cracks in the bark. This may indicate a frost crack that maybe goes deeper into the tree. Another thing to look for as well is have a look under the tree at around the root zone area. After some strong winds, like the ones we've had the past couple of days, you have to look at the roots and see if you notice any changes in the ground, any changes in the root zone area. If you start to see some heaving or some changes in the soil, that may indicate that the root ball itself is moving and shifting, and this is a potential hazard for the tree failing and falling over. One thing we say at Davey Tree all the time is safety first, so be very careful. When you're going to do your visual check, be careful walking under the tree. As I said, some of these branches may fall at any time. But it's always a good idea to call your local arborist. I, of course, will recommend Davey Tree to come out and have an inspection to identify any potential hazardous trees.
Okay, and what should homeowners do after a storm? You know, sometimes unless you see a tree broken around your home, you're probably not going to worry or look around for anything. Is there any kind of little things people should be aware of that could lead to, big problems?
Yes. In general, a healthy tree will not be damaged as much in a storm. So it's a good idea just to kind of have a visual check of the overall health of your tree. Look for any signs of decay, like any cracks or anything. Give a call to a local arborist. They can come out as well and do an inspection, a more thorough inspection. We use a tool called a sounding mallet, and it's basically a hammer with a hard plastic end, and you tap around the tree, listening for changes in pitch or tone, and this can indicate any kind of internal decay, which would be an issue in the tree.
What have you seen the past couple of months? I mean, a couple times I have driven to work and, seen a couple huge trees on main arteries that people drive on. But, what's it been like for you working the past couple of months?
I have definitely seen, and we have seen some damaged trees. One thing to look for in particular is a spruce tree that is codominant. And so this is a tree that may split 10, 15 feet off the tree. It'll split into 2 leaders. Where those 2 leaders join together, if you have a close V shape, it indicates something called included bark. And this is actually a weak union. I have seen many of those spruce trees fail or crack right at that point of the included bark, and you basically have one leader of the tree falling over, which of course can be potentially dangerous.
Yeah, you don't want that falling in your house or your car, that's for sure. All right, thanks.
No, you don't.
Thanks so much for your time this morning, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much.
For more information or to schedule a consultation, visit the Davey Tree Expert Company online at davey.com.